If you are looking for ghosts, there is one place where you may confirm their presence: the Chabra helipad. 30-year-old Devesh stated dramatically. I was a little skeptical, though I had been to the helipad a number of times. I had never heard about it being haunted. It is located at a distance of about 10 kilometers from Shimla. The helipad is basically for president's helicopter and those of other VVIPs. For rest of the time, it is a tourist place buzzing with yak rides, tea stalls, momo stalls and chaatwalas catering to the tourists who come to see the beautiful views of the flat ridge. The field of vision is 360 degrees and exhibits one of the most majestic landscape of Shimla Hills. The great Himalayan ranges to the north and the northwest. A lush green carpet of thick forest, locally known as Hassan Valley, on the eastern side. The expanding Shimla outskirts on the western side, the Kufri expanse on the northern side, and rolling green hills towards the south. On the outskirts, before you reach the helipad, lies one of the oldest schools, Himalayan International School. In front of the helipad, after a couple of hillocks, is President's Retreat. Devesh's story was spine-chilling. He had gone to the helipad late one evening along with three friends. On their way back from Rampur, they had decided to go to the helipad to watch the twinkling lights of Shimla. The ground was empty with no tourists or locals. They got out of the car and stretched for a little while, but the cold and the silence forced them to take the refuge in the car again. They were discussing the power of Mother Nature when suddenly there was a knock on the car window, a clear and loud knock. It was dark outside and no one was visible from inside the car. Before any one of them could say a single word, there was another knock, this time louder. Each one of them could sense the other's terror. Uneasiness settled on them. They also heard voices and conversation in hushed tones. Devesh was on the driver's seat. With trembling hands, he started the car and drove down in maximum speed to the main road. Once he reached there, he stopped to catch his breath. They looked at each other. All of them were terror struck and unable to speak. They had heard that knock. When they were strolling a few minutes earlier on the helipad, they had not seen anyone. Who could it be then? Certainly, it was no human being. Same with the voices they had heard, knowing clearly that there was no one around. So I decided to investigate, not only because it was a spooky tale, but also because the helipad is a fetching place, one of my favorites. I went there with a few friends. It had snowed just 2 days back. Our car could not go beyond Chabra Bazaar. No problem, we decided to walk and it was great fun. Stomping on the snow, our first walk this winter. I asked the people I met on the way if this place was haunted. Some shrugged in the negative, while others stated that they had heard strange tales. The small hillock beyond the helipad was said to be haunted, but there was no definite answer to my queries. There was no one on the helipad except for a couple clicking photographs of each other. We strolled on the helipad discussing ghosts, enjoying the wide expanse of virgin beauty. As we were returning to the bazaar, I saw three boys sitting on the pavement nearby. I stopped and asked them whether they were locals or tourists. The boys were locals. I introduced myself and told them about my mission to confirm their wish encounter. The youngsters were not forthcoming at first, but soon they opened up and said that they had never seen the ghost but had heard story about the hillock beyond the helipad. They further told me that there was another place nearby which was haunted, just opposite Chabra Bazaar, where a link road goes to a high-end hotel. On this small link road comes a stretch where people have experienced the supernatural. I was intrigued and asked them what happens there. You can hear both male and female voices of people talking near you, but you cannot see anyone. The headlights of vehicle start to flicker on their own, on, off, on, off. No one ventures out there all alone. I was satisfied. At least I got some information. Thanking them and forgetting about the ghost, I decided to concentrate on the slippery climb down the snow covered road. When we touched the main road that goes to the retreat, the summer house of the President of India, we stopped to glance at Priyanka Gandhi's house, which was under construction. Here I met another young man walking on the road and asked him the same question. He was an employee working at the retreat. He related two incidents he had heard about, which happened at a time when there was no electricity and the population was sparse. One of his senior colleagues had narrated this experience to him many years ago when he was going to the retreat alone at night. He encountered a ghost. When he reached the big curve on the road to the retreat, he sensed that he was not alone. He hoped it was someone from the retreat, but all he could make out was a blurred figure, man like. He also told himself that he might be hallucinating, but he was not drunk and could clearly see the strange figure now walking ahead of him. It was dark, moonless night. First, he thought of calling out to the stranger, but then changed his mind and decided to light a matchstick to see who was there. He saw no one when he lit the matchstick. When the flame died, he saw the man again, now lingering close to him. This happened a few more times, after which he was convinced it was a spirit. He also knew it was not harmful, otherwise, he would have been attacked and killed by then. The second story, related by the young man, was told to him by his grandfather. My grandfather lived in a small village near Taila below Mashobra. He was a farmer and grew vegetables. He, along with other farmers, would sell their vegetables in Shimla Sabji Mandi. Since they had to reach Shimla by 6 a.m., they would leave their village after midnight and walk with their produce cabbage, peas, cauliflowers, beans, and tomatoes. The group had to walk in the dead of night, for there were no buses or vehicles plying at that time. Carrying vegetables in the kiltas, they would reach the Sipur ground, where an annual fair is held even now. Sipur Fair is famous for bullfights. Between Mashobra and Fairlawns, there was a steep dank, near which there was a cud, where they rested and waited for the day to break before they started on the next leg of their journey. From Mashobra till they reached the cave shelter, a Chudail always accompanied them and sat alongside them quietly. No one talked to her, but everyone was aware of her presence. With the first rays of sun out, they moved on further to Shimla, leaving the Chudail behind. She was their constant companion night after night till the cut.